All right, we're back again. So when we left off last, we had finished getting the receiver done. We had hooked up the video transmitter. The only thing I've done since is I went ahead and put the antenna in. This is just I'm trying out the Xilo Axies by Lumineer. So this is just a stubby straight to a 90-degree MMCX connector. So I just funneled that in through the hole, down through the bottom, curved it slightly left, then brought it around up over top into this MMCX connector. So essentially all I've done is connect the antenna. Let's power up. So we can give it power now, even though we still need to put the camera in. So that's kind of the goal here for this one. I tested it with the multimeter, that was good. I still always just plug in first with the smoke stopper. So let's go ahead and get that attached. Our goal here for this video is to power it up and then also put our camera in and then set up our model. We need to bind our Crossfire. So let me get a battery. Go. Let's go ahead and give her a plug up. All right, that looks good. Looking good. So we have power, we're good to go. Let's go ahead and make a model on our transmitter. Let's see.
Welcome to OpenTX. Throttle warning.
I'll go ahead and show you this since it doesn't take too long, and maybe somebody out there has never set up a model before. There we go. All right, let's see, exit out. Let's go to menu. Scroll down. I'm gonna go to new model. Now I know if you watch some of Bardwell's videos, he has it to where I think like all of his drone models, or all of his drones are just linked under one model and he can switch between them, just somehow, but I'm not sure how he has that set up. But I just make new models. So I went to menu, I click new model, and then once this comes up, I'm gonna page over, or well, just go over like with the plus minus over here till we get to the multi-rotor, enter, and then at this menu just page, and then long press enter here. All right, now once we have our model, I will go to page, I believe. Let's go ahead and give this a model name. E will be our model name for this one, and you can long press enter to make them capitalized, but E will be our model name for right now. I'm sorry, let me let's go back to menu, page over. Let's go down to, I'm gonna put a timer on mine, so I'm a timer 1. I will turn it on, exit, and then page. And if you ever page accidentally forward, this took me a long time to figure it out. Press and hold page and it'll take you back a screen. So let's go down here. Let's click enter on timer 1 and let's go up to the set the time. I'm gonna put mine just on 3 minutes. So I'm gonna leave the zeros there for seconds. Click enter for the minutes. Tick up to 3 minutes. That's what I'm gonna set my timer at. Yeah, have OSD and all that stuff, but I still like to have a timer as well. So let's exit out and continue scrolling down. I like to have a minute call on mine, so I'll click enter on that. Click enter on where it says countdown, and I'm gonna change it to voice.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Don't worry, that'll
3,
turn off in a little bit.
2, 1. Timer
Right.
1 elapsed.
Keep going down, keep going down. Down. We're trying to get to our module, our internal. Okay, so once you get to this mode, D16, whatever, we want to turn this off. And then let's see, exit back out. And then we want to go to, since I'm running Crossfire, I'll go to external RF and click enter, and then I want to turn this to Crossfire. Enter, exit back out. So that's what we have there. And let's go ahead and set up our switches. We paged over to inputs. Is that right? Yes. Okay, so we're going to go to inputs. I'm going to scroll down to channel 5, scroll down, and then click on this. And this is where we just start setting up switches that we're going to want to use. Once you have that highlighted, you see it changes once I move the switch. So that's how we get to the switch I want. Back out, scroll down again to channel 6 now. Scroll down, click enter to make it start flashing. I'm just gonna hit another switch that I want to use on mine. And you'll see it change, and we'll exit out again. Let's go to 7, scroll down, enter here till it starts flashing. I'll run another switch that I might want to use. Exit, 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 scroll down, channel 8, down, click enter. And then I want to use this for turtle mode. So this is another switch I want to use. Exit, exit, exit. And then we're done here. So let's page over one more time. Come down to channel 6. This is the easy part. Channel 6, enter, exit. Down to 7, enter, exit. Uh-oh. I forgot channel 5. Enter, exit. And then 6, 7, and then 8. Enter, exit. All right, so we're just giving the switches so we can assign them modes in Betaflight. So let's page over again. Page over, page over, page over, page over. Special functions, this is where we're gonna set our timer up. So on special function 1, I'll click enter, and then we'll enter here, and then I want to scroll up, and this is gonna be my arm switch right here. So I want it to reset my timer. You see here it's in the down arrow, but I want when I flip it up, I want it to reset the timer. So I'm gonna flip the switch back up, and you see now the arrow is pointing up. So I want this switch up to trigger the function. So we enter that there. Let's go over. Now we tell it, well, what do we want it to do? We've got the switch up, means it's gonna do something. What is it gonna do? So let's go here, and we want it to reset. Once we get to reset, click enter, and then let's go over. All right, so we want it to reset timer 1, which that's good. We'll leave that over one more time, and then let's enable it. So this little checkbox that we need to press enter here, and then that will enable what we have set. So I think we can exit here, exit. And so we should be set up. We should be good to go. This is the new model. Here's the timer. If you see, once I arm, it'll start counting down. And then when I disarm, it resets that timer. So that's what that special function was for. All right, so we need now to bind the Crossfire receiver. All right, bear with me. I think first we need to long press menu, then page, go down here to Crossfire, enter, run down again, long press on Crossfire Lua, and then we want to execute that. Now we need to plug up our quad. I'll just put it right behind the radio. Let's see if we can get both these in a shot. Yeah, so right now you can see, the Crossfire receiver. The Crossfire Nano is blinking green. It's ready to bind. It's ready to do its thing. We're in here, right here with micro TX. Let's press enter, and then we're gonna go click down to binding, enter there, and hopefully, yep, you see it turn red. It's gonna ask you to update receiver. We're gonna click enter because we do, and now it's going to start updating. Just leave it alone, let it do its thing. All right, then you'll see the screen says RX is loading, don't interrupt. And you see how it's flashing real quick right now, just let it do its thing. All right, and now it's finished. So we got solid green here on the back of the radio. We got solid green for our Crossfire link.
RF signal critical.
Oh, well, that's not good. Let's go down here. We don't need to do any of this region or anything like that. We do need to back out, and we need to go down. Once you bound it, you now will see that you have an access or an option to access your receiver. Let's click enter on that because we need to do, well, just something real quick. We need to go down to where it says fail-safe mode, and instead of position, we want to click enter on that, and then scroll up to it where it says cut. And so we want to go to put that on cut. Everything else is fine, so we'll exit back out. You see we have our telemetry reading right now, so we're good, we're bound. All right, we'll unplug. Get this out of the way.
Telemetry lock.
All right, so what we need to do next is get our camera hooked up. For this one, I'm gonna use, I've had this Caddx Turbo. Let's see what it is. Yeah, it's a Caddx Turbo Micro SDR2 Plus. So I've had this for a while, but this is what we're gonna use on this one. It's got a little kind of a camo, like a camouflage color scheme to it. But I need to get, let's see, I need to get some screws to put in here. Might need to be fairly long one since this one's a smaller camera. All right, so let me cut away and let me just go ahead and, well, hold on. I'll go ahead and show you guys this, I guess. I'm gonna go ahead and take our connector out. Okay, yeah, so we don't need to snip any of these wires or anything like that because it just has the three that we're going to use, which is video, ground, and power. And it looks like they're actually doubling up on the ground here. They've got two grounds going into one of these connectors right there, and one of them comes out to go to your flight controller, one of them comes out to go to the camera adjuster, the camera board. But yeah, we can go ahead and attach this right here. Okay. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut and get some longer screws to put in here on the side, get this camera mounted, and then we'll come back and I'll clip up these wires and go ahead and attach it to the VTX. All right, so I got the camera situated while I was gone. What actually was the case is not necessarily that I needed a longer screw. I originally had these full, like the Hyperlow comes with these full-size camera mounts, and on the other two that I built, I've actually been running full-size cameras, which are the Eagle, the Runcam Eagle 2 Pro, just like you see here. So I have the full-size mounts here, and I have the Runcam back there. But the Hyperlow frame, you know, if you were building that frame, it comes with also kind of a micro or a mini camera mounts. And so that's what I did, is I took the full-size camera mounts off and just installed the smaller mini camera mount. So I slid those on the standoffs here, and then I didn't need any longer screws or anything. The ones that came with the camera were fine. I just screwed those in here. So we have our camera installed there. So what we need to do now is just go ahead and solder it up. I was just thinking as I'm building, every time I build a new drone, I'm always thinking about a way to make it cleaner, you know, tighter, more efficient, and just more protected. And I used to when I first used to build, I was always scared to trim cables, you know, because I was like, well, what if I cut it too short, and then I won't be able to connect it, and I would just have stuff kind of, you know, hanging all around here like this in my drone, and wires kind of just dangling out the side. But something to think as you're building is, one, don't be scared to trim the cable. It's not going to be the end of the world if it ends up being a little bit too short. You can always extend it. It might take just a little bit of time to solder a new little piece of wire back on or solder it back together, but don't be scared to trim your cables. And something else that I was just thinking is that, and I'm going to try right here, is maybe just trying to start heat shrinking my cables as well. Not only just having them short and clipped to where they need to be, but just putting a little piece of heat shrink on. So I'm gonna try that here as we come from the camera wires and just see how that works out. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied with the wire management and the cleanliness of this build. Something else that I have done off camera is just, again, tighten a couple things up, which, all right, so I think we just bound the receiver. I walked you guys through, and the model, I went ahead and remember I said I was gonna wait to put the heat shrink on the Crossfire receiver. Let's see, yeah. So that it's right here. I put a little heat shrink over it. So this is our Crossfire Nano. We got the antenna coming out the front, of course, for the Immortal T. And then I took underneath here on this plate for the Hyperlow, I put some double-sided little tape, and then put that under my capacitor as well. So stuck those to the plate here, and then also ran this zip tie is running underneath the plate and underneath the frame here, and just holding both of them down. So I want everything in place. You don't want stuff flying around or getting loose in a crash or anything like that and getting chopped up. What else okay, the VTX is good and secure because that's screwed down here into the standoffs. So I think we're good there. All right, let's continue with the camera. I'll put this off to the side. I'll adjust my settings in a minute. The camera is going to hook up. So in this flight controller, it's going to hook up right here. We're going to have our ground. Let's see. Yeah. We're going to have our ground here, and then power, and then this is our video. So it should be pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and get that clipped and soldered up. So I'm just going to pull my wire over. You know, I'm not going to pull it like too tight or anything. Just give it just the tiniest bit of slack, kind of like this. And I might even, I think what I'm gonna do is once I put the heat shrink here, I might even zip tie it a little bit to the standoff. That might just be overkill, but let's see. So we have a little bit of room here. That's where I'm gonna go ahead and clip my wires. And before we, always remember when you're working on a heat shrink, just get that on first, because especially when you're in a rush, it's just easy to start soldering stuff up and then you can't put heat shrink on after that. So we'll run this down here a little bit so we can strip them and get them tinned up. So we'll just pull them apart a little bit there. Strip just a little bit. And when you're stripping these wires, you don't want them too long. Really just as short as they possibly can be. And if you do strip them, like I have, this ground wire here is just a little bit too long for my liking. Go ahead and take a second and just trim it just a little bit, because you want to try to, as soon as that wire is leaving the pad, you want it to be nothing but the silicone cover. Yeah, that's good. And I'm always worried about trimming wire like that, because then what if you cut it too short again? But all right, that's okay. Let's tin these up real quick. All right, let's go ahead and come over here. Ground first. Power. Actually, let's clip. I want to trim this power just a little bit. Too long. All right, that'll work. All right, let's bring this power in next. And finally, our video wire, which on this flight controller just says camera. Right, camera is hooked up. Alright, we got our ground, video, and then camera for, video. So let's cross our fingers, power up, hope that we get video. and hope that smart audio works fine too. I don't want any smart audio nonsense, just want it to work. I've already entered my video transmitter tables for the Rush tank. If you don't know anything about that, look on Barbell's channel of why, you know, like why your smart audio isn't working or something like that. It'll talk to you about 4.1 and Betaflight and setting up video transmitter tables and stuff. But let's see, I want to get my, very paranoid. I still always power up with smoke detector until it's super duper done, or smoke stopper, I mean. I'm gonna go ahead and let me heat up this heat shrink as well, just real quick, get that kind of tidied up. So let's plug up. Okay, let's get our goggles, see if we got video. All right, and we shall do. We have video, same channel as I was in Daytona.
Welcome to
Now for the true
GM.
test, see if smart audio is working again. So let's go to our model. Success, yes, thank you. I don't know, there's always just something nice about hooking it up for that first time and the smart audio works and you don't have to go troubleshoot anything, at least until you start crashing, I guess. All right, let's save and exit. Good deal. All right, that's it. What did we do? Let's see. Okay, so what we did is we set up our camera. Camera is good, we connected that. Got it nice and clean and tidy in here, so that when we put our top plate on, everything's just nice and snug all inside there. Camera on, connected. We set up our model, we powered it up, we got it on, we bound our receiver and all that stuff. So I think that's it for this one. The only thing we have left to do, I don't think there's any soldering left. Let me think. There's something I also did. Since I turned this flight controller, I also remapped my motors, but you know, we won't worry about that for now unless you were to change your flight controller, and I'd certainly be happy to answer a question about that, or like change the direction of your flight controller. But I remapped my motors. All right, the only other thing we need to do is test, make sure all our motors are spinning in the right direction. And I think the final video for this, what we'll do is we'll have testing motors to spin in making sure they're spinning in the right direction, and we'll go into Betaflight or BL Heli Suite and look at how to do that. I'll also, even though I already have my model set up, I'll also kind of do a little video of how to or what to do in Betaflight to set up a new model. So we'll go through Betaflight steps, how to change motor direction, and then final thing should just be, maybe we'll do a little test over it, but I think this thing is ready to go, rock and rolling. All right, we'll see you in the next one.